Guys, gals, and non-binary pals, welcome to Board Game the Game Show presents the WINterview, the only interview you can win. Yes, you might be able to as well. We'll see in just a while how that goes. Tonight's grand prize is $5. It's a $5 show. Brace yourselves, $5 whole, enough to get a mediocre deck of playing cards or like not a very good meal somewhere in fast food. That's what we're doing tonight. Now let me introduce my guest. Joining me tonight here on the show, Ian Zang. Ian, how are you doing?
I am doing okay for 2020. Yeah.
You know, especially for this week, I think holding on is the best you can do.
Yeah. I might need to talk to Michael Fox about actually holding on, the board game, which is just depression incarnate. It's kind of where this week is going for us. Just like, let it end.
It's not going to. It refuses to.
Will. It just feels like it's not. Keep in mind, it is November.
Yeah.
2020. It's November 2020.
Yeah. One of the greatest comments I'd heard that made me smile the most was that in future generations, maybe just a generation, people are going to get their doctorates about like a 3-day span of 2020. They're going to be like, oh, I know October 21st to 24th, but while I was in grad school, I dabbled a little bit in the 25th. So if you have any questions, I might be able to help you, just not at a full doctor level.
It's unfortunate, but true. I mean that's pretty accurate, pretty much all through certain eras of time. There's some times where there are 3 days where it's super important and you need to know everything about it. So it's just unfortunate that it's now.
At this point, I feel like it's only November. Yeah, I do have to. There is definitely what year are we in at this point? Because a lot of stuff has happened.
So also, I am currently furloughed from my full-time position and assumedly probably going to get laid off. So I haven't been working full-time.
Yep.
So like time is even more in flux right now. So like November rolled around and I was truly uncomfortable. I remember March like it was yesterday, and I'm pretty sure it was yesterday.
That is it does get real timey-wimey because I've kind of been in this since as the lockdown started and the pandemic began. I've sort of been in what you're talking about, which is how you see this whole game show set here. That is the great thing that came out of it, is that now we're doing game shows here. Another comment
I'm working on that too.
Smile today, tomorrow will be worse as a motto for 2020. And all you can do is stay up. So yeah, I definitely get what you're talking about. And there's that concept where like time just gets real weird, but it never gets fast. It's never like vacation or like con time where like it feels like time just whizzes by you. It's never whizzing by you. It's only slow and slower, as near as I can tell.
Yeah, it's gotten to a point where I actually, for the first time in my life, I went to a therapist and I was like, I'm an extrovert. What do I do? And he's like, what do other extroverts do? And so I went online and I did my research because, good therapist sends you home with research. And I was like, extrovert, what do you do as an extrovert during COVID? And everyone, like, I went through 3 pages of Google. I went to the second page of Google, which is unheard of. The first page was basically just extroverts complaining.
How can I help?
Oops. You can't.
I'll tell you how you can help.
You can help Google. So I went through the first page of Google, and it's just basically a bunch of extroverts complaining that they can't do anything during COVID. And then the second page was a bunch of extroverts trying to console each other because they can't go out during COVID. And the third page, by the third page of Google, you're like, this is the definition of extrovert. And so I was like, you know what? I should probably just think about what I did before, because I know that I've been in this kind of situation before. And I was like, oh, streaming. And so I have been streaming every weekday as like my anchor
I was going to say page 4, the top of the page is just the Twitch homepage.
Yeah.
Because that's what everyone did. Let me take a couple more comments that are coming in. March was both yesterday and 5 years ago.
It's very true.
That is true. Mm-hmm. And now everybody wants to see if they can make you say, okay, Google.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm, yeah.
Yeah.
I even have like things muted and everything. I did my homework.
It completely. I have like every once in a while. I don't know how it happens because before you do the shows, you know how this goes. You do it. You turn everything off. You switch everything off, and you keep like a phone close just because if there's an emergency, there's nothing going on here so important that I'm not answering like a legit bona fide emergency. But it would take a bit to be an emergency. You have it sitting there, and then every once in a while, all of my ringtones are game show themes, and still, like, all of a sudden the Family Feud will play. I'm like, how is that even? I turned everything off, and it's nothing. It's somebody trying to, like, make sure that my car warranty replacement is in proper order, and I have no idea what to do with that.
And then you get a phone call right after that saying, we're trying to reach you about that warranty.
Exactly. So then that's a great transition to talk about what you're doing now with streaming. Talk about your channel, talk about what it is, talk about what you're doing, talk about what you're doing right this. Let's get into it.
So I stream at twitch.tv/Zangzabar. That's Z-A-N-G. That's my last name right there. Yeah. And then Z-A-B-A-R. It's only A. It's like Zangzabar, but it's with my last name because it's cute. That was actually like my screen name, like when I was playing StarCraft with my friends way back when we were doing LAN party, because everyone had like Polandia and what else? I forget all of that. I remember Polandia because it was funny. And but Zangzabar became a thing because I was like an island nation. I bunkered and then had an enormous air force by the end of the game. So that's where that came out of. And so I just kind of kept that because it's cute and it's memorable and I remember it. And I already have all the usernames. And so back in 2011, was it 11? Might have been 11. Wow. Almost almost 10 years ago, I was in Detroit. I was living in Detroit doing student teaching. And I was living in Midtown Detroit in a small, well, it was a 2-bedroom apartment, but it was like the cheapest 2-bedroom apartment you'll ever see. I never actually went into my second bedroom. It was not even for storage. I didn't need it. It was just closed. And I was all by myself. I didn't really have very many friends down there. My girlfriend, now wife, lived in Lansing, which is about an hour and a half away. And so I was like, I'll try streaming because that sounds fun. And so I did a little bit of streaming and that kind of got me through. And when I was going through the therapy homework, I was like, you know what? I should probably try streaming again. See if I can't like set myself a schedule and just kind of get back into the swing of things so that I have some anchor to go to. And so I've been streaming and I've been doing some various things, whatever kind of picks my fancy. I've been playing Noita, which is a really fun little rogue-like shooter game, and it has Twitch integration, so you can actually have the Twitch chat participate in the game itself. So like every 2 minutes or so, a little prompt shows up on the screen with a 1, 2, 3, or 4, and the Twitch chat can enter 1, 2, 3, or 4 and vote on what chaos will happen to me, and it's an actual game effect. And sometimes
that's awesome.
Summon friendly ghosts, and a bunch of little friendly ghosts pop up around you and start shooting things with the people's names on them, which is just adorable. And sometimes they summon the sea of lava and kill me, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious fun times. But I've been playing Spirit Island on there because the Handelabra has a really great implementation that I've been playing through and kind of doing like teach and learn games. And most recently, I took it upon myself to create a whole stream layout and make a semi-game show out of the game Masterword, which is brand new.
One thing real quick. I'm going to stop you just short.
Okay.
Because we're going to get there in just a second. The first thing I want to do is just introduce everybody to what we're doing in this game show, which is if you want in just a little while, we asked Ian 20 questions that are 50-50. He picked the 10 he actually wanted to talk about. We're going to have those coming up. If you can predict his answers, you're going to win points. But to get in, go on any web-based device, go to crowd.live, enter the code 8W226. 8W226 to play. As you can see, your hands are so much closer. You're also pointing directly at the QR code. If you're a QR code kind of person. And I don't know that in a long time I've met anyone that like is a QR code kind of person. But if you are, gosh darn it, you can also scan that. That will get you in the game. Top prize, 5 good old-fashioned dollars. Couple things to note. BJ, take care of you, making sure that everybody can find twitch.tv/Zangzabar.
Thanks, BJ.
Good work. Nyabari chiming in. Wait, there was a time where people actually got to get in the before times. We went to many a place together and talked and drank, and we ate. We ate, Nyabari, without face coverings. Like,
and what's weird is that will happen again.
Yeah, we have to believe that it will. It must. It must. Everybody gets through this stuff. Every time I watch a documentary about the Spanish flu and I see everybody and how they were living once the parade killed so many people and they were like, oh, this is real.
Whoops.
I'm like, oh, that looks a lot like now, which means we clearly recovered because I remember.
And we learned so much.
We walked about like gods. We got on mass transit with our face where people could see it. We spit in the face of all that is good and right. Robert noting he loves QR codes. Okay, you're the one. Well, scan that QR code. That'll get you in the game. We'll be doing that in a couple of minutes. But let me drop back. Okay, Ian. Now talk to us about, because I got to appear on your daily game show, playing Masterwords. Let's get a look at that. Let's talk about that.
So again, this is Masterword. It's from Scorpion Mask. They didn't pay me to do this or anything. It was just something that I was like, this will work. This is fun. This looks neat. And I wanted to see if I could make it a thing. And it's Mastermind meets a word game, which is just a great little way to showcase the guests that I bring on, and they get to show off their personality because they bring their own knowledge and experience to things, which is really fun. And I've done it 3 days now, and it's been a joy. And if you want to tune in tomorrow at noon, you can on twitch.tv/Zangzabar.
Who's on your show tomorrow?
Tomorrow, I believe I have. Hold on, let me check my calendar because.
Well, then while you're checking your calendar, I have a question. I'm going to bring it up for everybody. Once again, the code to get into the game is 8W226. I put it in the chat, but I can't get to all the chats in all the places. So if you're on Facebook watching this, it won't let me put it on Facebook. So 8W226 is how you get in the game. So who's your guest tomorrow?
I have Eric Yurko and Bez from Stuff by Bez.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. Bez is a lot of, well, both of them are a lot of
fun. They're delightful people. And I'm very excited to see how they do, because so far, I believe only one team has failed to get their answer correct, which is pretty impressive.
Okay, because Michael Fox and I did it. Is it yesterday? Time's getting real weird.
Yeah, exactly. I told you.
It's yesterday, and we did everything we could to fail, and still managed to not fail.
Ironically, the first guess of the final round, because you had 3 guesses in the final round. The first guess of both of those rounds, you got it right. Yeah. So it wasn't down to the wire, but it was. I mean, it was down to the thick rope.
Yeah, it certainly was. And I would say for the first game, I guess for both games, we threw the third guess completely away because we knew we were like, we either got it initially or we failed, and we'll accept whichever outcome we get. Yes,
and it was just there, but you did a good job. So it's been a pleasure to have all these folks on and just to have everyone play and have a great time. So I'm really happy you were able to come on, and now I can be here, which is great.
Indeed. Now we see there's so many game shows that are popping up now. Even in the time since I started this channel not so long ago, there's like, I started it and I think it was me and maybe the brothers Murph were doing like a quasi pub quiz for board game folks. And now in the last like month and a half, there are a ton of them. And it's so cool to see, because finally what's happening is folks like you and I are saying, well, how can we make this interactive? How can we make board game content that isn't just a camera over a board while 2 to 4 people play and kind of try to talk you through it?
Now you can just stare at 2 dudes talking about, random stuff.
Yeah. And I mean, I think that is very much the chat show structure everywhere, no matter where you go. But at least like you can see people playing it in a presentation. And I have to say, your Masterwood presentation is fantastic. It looks like it is ready to be a game show. It is the same way I feel about this board. I feel like that board, it looks very pro. It looks very pro. It looks like we mean to do a thing here.
And your camera's even like transition. Like it's really nice.
Yeah. It's all very cool. So you have a game that's in pre-order. So let's talk about that. Let's get that in before we get into our game show.
That would be great. So some people might know me from great hits like Constellation or Curio, and frankly, I don't blame you if you don't, because they're there. They're okay. They did okay, but I've been doing a lot of development work for various companies. Hold on.
Oh no!
Currently, I have that set up on my floor of my workspace because I'm currently doing some work developing another game, and it's big, and I need to actually do a bunch of like laying out of things to kind of get my mind, kind of beautiful mind, literally connect the dots with all the various things. But recently, we also, my friend Aaron Wilson and I, Aaron Wilson designed Sovereign Skies, which is from Deepwater Games. Aaron designed it, and I developed it and made it a big nonsense, big woo-ha. And I'd like to think that it kind of brought up some pretty cool things. I can't actually talk about that. I saw that
is it a remake of Torpedo Run?
No, it's not Torpedo Run. You can't do that. We can't talk about it yet.
I believe it's Torpedo Run, right?
Sure. Yeah, it's totally Torpedo Run. It's
my job to start whatever this is. You can keep saying no, and I'll just keep lying.
Yeah. So Aaron Wilson and I have been talking about starting a company together because we work really well together, and we were thinking, yeah, maybe we should start something. And I had not gotten to a point where I felt like we had a cohesive vision for a company. Because there's a lot of companies out there that are just like, we're going to publish games, and they're going to be games. It's going to be a lot of games, and we like games. And that's good. It means that a lot of games get made. And one thing that I knew that if I wanted to get into the publishing aspect of things, I wanted to make sure I had a cohesive vision for the company so that it was very focused. It wasn't just we're going to publish my games and Aaron's games. It's going to be great. No, it's much more directed than that. The first game is mine, and it is Please Fix the Teleporter right there.
There we go.
Haha. And the company is Gravitation Games. And so Gravitation was kind of born out of a meeting that Aaron and I had at PAX Unplugged last year, which is, again, seems like yesterday. But we were thinking about we want to make games that pull people in and are easy to learn to a point where you can learn it by watching it.
Nice.
And so the whole idea behind this brand is that any game that you buy from us, you can basically set up on the table, and you can be like, I know how to play. And so this one is a tile matching game. It's speed. It's appropriate for young kids. Aaron's young daughters have been asking to play it a lot, and because he's like one of the only people with a copy right now, they've been playing it a lot. And so that is up for pre-order right now. The website that we have is gravitation.games, which is the easiest thing to remember. And the pre-order link is on that page. There's also a contest right now where we do have a free print and play of the game up on the website. Anyone can submit their speed run times, and you can potentially win a copy of the game. And hopefully we'll have the games to our warehouse by mid-December, which means that we might be able to get it to folks by Christmas. But I because of COVID nonsense, I can't guarantee things. But it certainly will be, if not Christmas, then very early 2021. And
certainly not later than Valentine's Day.
Yes, absolutely. So you can scramble up Captain Gorf and Emperor Corlax to your heart's content over a glass of Chardonnay.
And isn't that really what and I have a feeling, because everyone acts like the second that the ball drops to a crowd of no one in Times Square on the 31st, that this goes away. So I think you're going to be just as happy.
I hope so.
To be able to get together over Chardonnay and play.
I mean, I was just considering like your significant other or others, but I mean that you can do whatever you want. I suppose it's Valentine's Day. Ugh.
We're not here to judge. That's not what we do. Neither of us.
Cheers.
Let me bring up the big board. We're going to get in the game in just a second. If you want to play, and you probably do, because you can win $5.
$5 whole dollars.
$5 whole dollars. Go to crowd.live, enter the code 8W226. 8W226 gets you in the game. I see 7 people in the game right now.
That's a lot of people.
That is, I mean, to be honest, let me take a look here, at 8:21 p.m. on a Thursday.
My board games bring all the girls to the yard.
Oh.
No, I'm just going to stop right there.
I'm cutting in to CNN and Fox News's coverage because I'm sure that's still drawing a lot of people. So
it'll probably cause less chaos and disorder.
It has to. There's no way. I can guarantee you this game's going to cause far less chaos than that. I will remind everybody, as I do every single week that we play the game, I'm not exactly sure where you're watching this because we're going to a couple places. That means the lag can be way different. So once we actually start the game for real and for serious, take a look at your phone. The phone is the most important thing. Ian and I are going to chat about because I can do that now because I'm right. Yeah. We're going to chat about all of this, but don't necessarily worry about what we're doing. Pay attention to the phone. That's where you score the points. The faster you answer, the more points it's worth. So just be, gosh darn it, just as secure in your answer as you possibly can be. Let's take a look. Scott Nicholson has shown up. Milkshakes.
Thanks, Scott. I appreciate you. I haven't talked to you in forever, too. We should definitely hang out virtually.
Robert, knowing this is not as exciting as when he could have won the blue pancake syrup. We did do that for one game. We did a 20-question trivia contest where the winner got Crunchberry blue maple-flavored syrup. And Nature in the game, 8 people here. Gosh darn it, 9 people here.
Oh my gosh.
This hour.
So many.
Yeah, when we're going up against the world burning, I take it as a win.
Yeah, actually, that's not too bad.
Yeah, on a Thursday night like this, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So here's what we're about to do. I'm going to start the counter up in just a second. If you watch the show before, it's going to start at 10 seconds, but there's no 9. I don't know why. And then the game is going to begin. So here we go. You'll see everybody, that face that you have right now, Ian, is the face that everybody has when I say that. But you'll see 10, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's start this party off. Necktie or bow tie?
This is kind of cheating because I believe the picture you posted might help.
Definitely. So for the first question, what I always try to do, and it doesn't work because sometimes I do things that are less obvious that like I know about a guest, but that I then learn people don't know about a guest. But for the first one, I just want to make sure everybody's phone's working that they're ready to play. This is a simple one. Most people should get it. Let's take a look and see how the crowd did.
Well,
so you see, it always happens. 86-14, 6 people saying bow tie, 1 person saying necktie. Ian, talk to us about it, the answer and why.
The correct answer is bow tie. I was about to wear one, but I realized I did this. And I was like, I should not do that because it would be almost cheating. So bow ties were kind of my thing. I was a science teacher for many years being like 4, so 3 or 4, so like not many. But I did science education for quite a long time. And when you're in science education, I think it's like a prerequisite that you wear bow ties. I don't know where that comes from, but I just kind of went along with it and everyone just agreed with me. So I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what I'm doing.
So like, how does one end up there? Because I happen to also be a bow tie cat myself. And that was just because I went to someone's wedding and I was like, I'm going to be that quirky guy that wears a bow tie and just see how I feel about it. And then I loved it and threw all my neckties out. So how did you end up there?
This is actually a very logical story. So when you're a teacher and you wear a tie and you're trying to help students, doing their homework and doing like projects and stuff, and you lean over and you're like, oh, what's going on? Where's the tie? It's on their desk. It's like an invasion of privacy. But with a bow tie, it's like it's neat, it's tidy, it's professional,
Yep.
it's up top, it doesn't flap around. You don't need.
Yep.
Yes, I know. There are tie pins, but I don't want to buy extra accessories for my neckwear. I want to just be able to put on my neckwear and be ready to go. And so that's where the bow ties came from, because it was just like, I love bow ties. And I mean, I got married and like everyone wore bow ties and everyone was like, oh my God, bow ties are amazing. They don't get in your way. I'm like, I know.
Yeah.
And so I introduced everyone to the magical world of bow ties. And unfortunately, my wife and I bought bow ties for every one of the groomsmen.
Okay.
And my father and her father.
Okay.
To wear. And they were not like clip-ons. They were actual like bow ties. Like you had to tie the bow tie. And one guess as to how many people actually knew how to tie a bow tie.
Oh, that's a thing. You have to commit to the bit. If you're wanting to do it, I still remember watching a video in this weird mix of like panic, anger, and fear, almost in tears, trying to figure out when they say to you, when you tie a bow tie, there's a part where they say, then just take the other part and make it look like a bow tie.
Yeah, and so that's so if you look on any like internet resource of like the different stages of tying a bow tie, it's like, okay, loop the two sides over your neck, make them evenly spaced. Okay, now cross them over. Okay, now move this over. Okay, now fold this to make it look like a bow tie. Okay, and now magic occurs and you have a bow tie. And it's just like, excuse me? It's like step 5 is like, no picture does it justice. You just kind of have to figure it out. And once you do, it's like, oh, that's it? Oh, well, okay. So I ended up tying 8 bow ties that day, right before the wedding. So that was super fun and not stressful at all.
Oh, I'm sure. I am sure. Let's do one thing.
But
let's
also
get the scores
of my
up.
own design.
Let's get the scores up right now. Leading with 96 points, Nayabari and Nitra at 92, Malik at 91, Wolfsvio in with 88, Robert G with 58, Scott with 37, Nikki just picking any answer in a storm. We saw that a second ago, Nick Dermis. I was just trying to make sure my thing worked. I just grabbed any old answer I get my hands on. That is sure what you did. You never lose points in the game, so don't worry about that. Anitra figuring out exactly why you would do a bow tie in science, so you don't get it lost in machinery, spill anything on it. Robert,
that
also
is true.
Bow tie guy.
It's just they're more comfortable. They're lighter. They're not like a pendulum on your neck. It's just better overall.
They're also just so cool. Like I did it to be quirky and then learned all the actual benefits that you're talking about. But at first I was like, I just want something nobody does. And in any given crowd, like it's one of those things when you see somebody else wearing one, you're like, oh, you figured it out. We're going to move on to question number 2. Here we go. Opera or ballet?
Ooh.
Opera or ballet? You are going to notice we didn't talk about this ahead of time, Ian, but I figure you had to assume this was going to happen. They're not going to be in the order you answered them in.
I got that.
Okay.
This is going to be interesting to see what everyone said.
I am super curious as well. Let's take a look and see what the room said. 75-25 on opera. What is your answer and why?
So my answer is actually ballet. Yeah, it's ballet. And it is because I am a very visual person. Okay. And I need to be able to see what's going on, and I can interpret it based on that. Okay. Opera, like I do like opera, but if I had to choose between opera and ballet, I'd definitely go with ballet because there's cool things happening on stage. Normally in opera, it's like this person standing and singing in a foreign dialect that I don't know. And that's fine because it's pretty music, but it's like they're just standing there and looking dramatic. And then other people are like moving around on stage. I mean, I get it. I know I'm like, if you like opera, I'm not taking away from this. I understand. I get it. I know. But personally, I need more visual feedback than just, and so like watching the physical prowess of ballerinas is just amazing. It's incredible. And I highly recommend people go to the ballet just to experience it if you have not.
And if you find yourself saying, but really, take a look at like anything you can find on the internet of sort of like ballet related injuries. And all of a sudden you're like, oh my word, that is not just art. That is very much athletics.
It is a sport.
Yeah.
It is a intense sport.
Indeed. So let's take a look and see how that changes scores. Malika leading with a $1.80 at this point. Robert G with 141. Nyabari at 96. Anitra 92. Walsfield 88. Scott with 37. Nikki still here. And then BJ from Board Game Gumbo. Just the whole name out there for you. Entering the game. Welcome. Here's the good news. As the game goes on, more points are available. 2 100-point questions. We're about to move on to our third, although I'm going to take a note here from Robert. Start wearing suits at conventions because no one was. Then it wasn't long before I decided a bow tie was the way to go. Absolutely.
Yeah. Now that I'm running in my own company, that's probably what I'm going to be doing too.
Yeah. And it's just going to be y'all.
Mm-hmm. I don't think I'll wear a suit because conventions get hot and
they're so hot.
I just run around all the time, so I'll get super sweaty and I don't want to have to like freak out about that.
Yeah. They're so hot and everything is 3 miles apart.
Exactly. And so even if you walk at a slow pace, you're sweating by the end of the walk.
Oh, definitely. We're going to move on to question number 3. Here we go. Moonlit or candlelit? We're doing an interesting open here.
Very romantic, so to speak.
Indeed. And remember, if you and your significant other want to deal with the bridge of a starship, over a glass of wine come Valentine's Day, give them the details again, Ian.
Well, it wouldn't be the bridge of a starship. It would be the teleporter room.
I'm sorry.
Please fix the teleporter. Gravitation.games. Because you play the hapless teleporter operator trying your best to like unscramble these people. And trying your best is the best. It's pattern matching. It's really cute.
Wait a minute.
You're just trying to match that pattern like that.
Oh my goodness.
Or this. So every card is slightly different. It's just really cute. And you have little tiles. So every player has the tile, like the corner. So you have to figure out where this one goes. So, nice. I mean, that's the game. It's the entire game. You just have to try to match fastest and slap the card. That is the game. Not much to the rules. Like that's the whole point of gravitation. Like pull people in and have some fun.
Nice. At gravitation.games.
.games.
So 88-13, 7-1 on Moonlit versus Candlelit. What is your answer and why?
So Candlelit. It's whoever guessed Candlelit.
Oh.
Yeah, this is rough. I am in touch with my sensitive side. Thank you very much. I like making dinner and having dinner over candlelight. Like it's just like very romantic and it just makes me happy. That's really that's what I like. Absolutely. So like Moonlight, don't get me wrong, is very nice. But indeed. I like my wife. And I like having it's good memories of us making food and then eating it together with candles. It's nice.
And you know the other problem with Moonlight?
Werewolf, yeah.
Werewolves. That is exactly the answer. Werewolves is the problem.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
There is only one person you did not upset here, so let's take a look at the scores. Malika with a $1.80. Anitra with 179. Must be Anitra that got it right. Robert with 141. Nyabari Walsfio. Scott, Nikki, and BJ from Board Game Gumbo still here. Don't worry. More points are coming up. We're going to jump into a 200-point question right now. Here we go. Fall or spring? Fall or spring? Which one of the good seasons? Because the other 2 seasons are trash. I said that. You heard me, fans of summer and winter. They're garbage seasons. You deal with them so you can get to fall and spring.
I'm going to disagree with you on there.
Oh, I'm sorry then. This has gone so well and suddenly you got wrong so fast.
So you only have fall and spring. Summer is definitely my favorite season because I spend much of it up north in Michigan. Up north in Michigan, so it's like right here. So it's like not super north. I mean, we have a whole upper peninsula. Wait, there we go. Yeah. Upper peninsula. But I don't. We trolls, which is the trolls, in the lower peninsula under the bridge, where the trolls under the bridge. we call up north basically anything north of this line. Like it's up here. So like we have my wife and I, her parents own a cabin right on Lake Huron. So we're up there almost every weekend. So that's like my favorite season. But the answer on this, do you want to reveal?
Let's take a look first at what everybody had to say. 63-38 spring versus fall. What is your answer?
I did say spring.
There we go.
Yes. So spring, I like to think of it as daylight hours. So in fall, it's always you're always losing the hours. You have less and less light, which just makes me not happy. And I literally take vitamin D supplements because otherwise I get pissy and not fun to be around. So, but in spring, it's like it's 7 o'clock and sunny. What's happening? It's 8 o'clock and sunny. What is this? It's like this whole new, like every day it's something new. It's just like, I'm just happy now all of a sudden. I don't know why. Oh, right. The sun.
Yeah. The sun is here and not hiding anymore. Let's take a look and see what that did to the scores. Robert leading the game now with 310, Nayabari 268, Malika at 180. Anitra 1 point back. Hard to do in this game. Hard to be just 1 point off. Nikki just 2 points off. Also very difficult. BJ from Board Game Gumbo 9 points back. Walsfield 11 points back. It's a very close game. I got to take a second because a lot of the chat is unhappy about my statements. Winter, come at me. No, Ian's right. It's dark. It's like... There's like 4 days of winter that are great, and the rest of it's not Christmas or Thanksgiving.
Well, Malika might live, south, and I know BJ does. He lives in Louisiana, so it's like it's still warm, and the sun doesn't change that much. I mean, it gets a little bit darker, but like it's not super dark. So like anyone in the south, they're like, yeah, that's fine. But here up in the cold north, I'm sorry, like winter gets dark, and it early. it's not great.
BJ, I'm sorry, BJ noting I hate the minor league all-star game. No, it's how I get through summer because summer's a terrible season. What's the code? There's the code right on the screen. 8W226 will get you in the game. That is how you get there.
You're joining late, but you're not out of it yet.
No, not by far. We just entered the 200-point questions. We're getting into some more of them right now. Let's get the next one set up. Question number 5. PC or Mac? PC or Mac? We got out of all that romantic stuff.
This should be... I don't know. This might actually be a little bit weird. I'm curious to see what people think of me.
I can see that. I don't know that I would have gotten this right. Just like quick off-the-cuff guessing. Let's take a look.
So let's see what happened.
75-25 Mac. What is your answer and why?
PC.
There you go. I would have lost that one.
So I had an iPhone for 2 generations, and I was like, I can't do this anymore. When they removed the headphone jack, I was like, no. I'm gone. Goodbye. And I haven't looked back since. And I have a PC because I build my own PC. This PC that I'm on right now I built myself. And so it's nice. It works really well. I like the customization aspect. I am a nerd. I am a nerd. I love it. I love it.
You're smelting together a fine PC with hand craftsmanship.
I don't know if smelting is the right word because smelting happens all at once. This is literally like I am like the case that I have is the same case I've had since high school. And the power supply, I got like a top of the line power supply in college, and I haven't replaced that since then. So that's probably due for a replacement. But basically, anytime something kind of goes wrong, I just replace it. And it's literally Franken-computer, and I love it.
Nice. And at this point, that power supply does not owe you anything.
It's
when
true.
It finally decides it has to go. You're like, you know what? I'm real upset you're gone. But like, I don't know that I can be mad.
But no, like you 10 years is nothing to snuff at.
Oh, no doubt about it. Robert G right now leading the game with 460. Walsfield 348. Nayabari at 268. BJ taking off. Send my $5 to the Summer's Better Charity Fund. I'll do it, BJ. Don't you worry. Let's take a look at Nitra. I'm a Mac and I'm a PC. And you are definitely a PC. No doubt about that. You can tell anybody who is a PC person, I've learned, if you're really hardcore, because there's a lot of people that are in the middle where they're like, oh, this is just the one I learned on, and that's kind of how I go. A lot of Mac people seem to be that way. But when you're really far to one end or the other, with Mac people, there's like some kind of gibberish speak about it just works. That's all it does. And then on the other side is exactly where you are, where you're like, oh, I have a power supply that's lasted since the Clinton administration. So you can talk to me all you want about your Safari update.
But like, made to last there's got to be something to that.
Indeed. Moving on to question number 6. Here we go. Peanut butter cups or M&Ms? We are just coming off of Halloween. So you got an exceptional number of Halloween-style questions for this one.
It's fine. And the type of this whiskey is a clue. Well, it's kind of late now, but...
Yeah. That's how we work clues in this game as much as we can.
Like last second.
So that if you would have seen... When you go back and watch it on YouTube, you're like, oh, I had it the whole time. If only I had been paying attention. It's like Knives Out. Let's take a look and see what everybody had to say. 70-30, 70% going for peanut butter cups, only 30% for M&Ms. What is your answer and why?
Peanut butter. This is Screwball whiskey, and it's like my favorite new whiskey. It's so good, and it's peanut butter. You give me peanut butter, and I'm just like, yes, give it to me. I have an African gray parrot, and he's the same way. We got him a new cage, and there's like this bar at the top, on top of the cage, that he can kind of hang out at. When we first put him in there, he was like, no, I'm not going up there. But then my wife figured out if she puts peanut butter on like the ladder, and then a little bit higher on the ladder, and a little on the perch itself, and then further out on the perch, like eventually he'll go up there. And it was so funny, like having him learn, like, this is safe to go up here. And because he would be like, this is the peanut butter. He'd be like, no, I'm safe here, but I really want it. Like he'd stretch his, and then he's like, oh, there's more up here. Okay, I guess I'll go up here. I guess this is fine. Okay, I'm safe. I'm gonna go back down. But that's peanut butter. And then like he would just inch his way up and become more comfortable, and now he won't stop being up there. So it was so funny. And it was like, cheers to you, my bird.
Let's take a look at the scores. Robert's still leading the game with 594. Wallsfield 522. Nyabari at 4.
Dang, Rob.
7. Late Josh is in the game. We'll see what happens. Also some notes here. Let's see. Robert, I'm both, but my nice computer speakers I ordered with my Gateway 2000 computer in 1999, still using them.
I know.
Yeah.
Like, they last. Things last. Yeah. And if you provide backwards compatibility, like most PCs do, it's super easy to do it. But with Mac, like, you need a dongle for literally anything. And that just frustrates me. I don't like that. Mostly because of the word dongle. I don't like using it.
And once again, this is where we're going to have to disagree. I love the word dongle. I just don't like having to use them. So
I don't like, dangle is fine, but I don't know why dongle just like infuriates me.
I've heard some people are that way. I don't think like what you're saying is not uncommon. I'm just not in that crowd. But then again, people are mad at me because I'm not a summer or winter guy. So what are you going to do?
Such is life.
Indeed. One note for peanut butter. I only wish that had been followed with Queen with a W. As we move on to question number 7, the values are going up. This is a 300-point question.
Wow.
Oh my goodness. Brace yourselves. Dragon or unicorn? It's off the rails now. Now anything can happen. We're late in the game and the points are big. Dragon or unicorn?
Where everything's made up and the points do matter.
Points mean nothing.
No, they do matter in this case.
They do. It's $5, y'all. Let's see. I use Mac for my laptop and PC for my desktop. I'm the same way. This setup here that I'm on is PC, but down here my control kind of panel I use is an iPad. So yeah, I'm kind of I try to stay as agnostic as possible. So I certainly understand that.
So what do we got here?
78-22 on the Dragon, 7-2. Now, as we've run through the game many times, you have broken hearts.
And again,
Whatever
I'm
it is,
do it.
hey, only one person thinks it's a thing, and you're like, oh, well, let me pick that. That can't possibly happen this time. Hey, Ian, what's your answer and why?
So again, like I'm really in touch with my sensitive side. I would prefer a unicorn because dragon. Like I've watched Harry Potter. I know how scary dragons are. Like unicorns, yeah, they have the big horn, but like they're gentle creatures for the most part. They're skittish. They'll stay away, and also they're beautiful. There's one of them because it's a unicorn. Like, come on, like there's nothing really bad about that. With dragons, they got scary teeth. They breathe fire. It's just overall dangerous, and so I understand like why people like dragons. They're cool, but like I was thinking like, would I want a dragon or would I want a unicorn? And the answer is obviously unicorn because like I get free rainbows like all the time, and I don't get burned. Like, there's no like. I'm thinking about this logically too, not just like set my sense to this side. Like it's like, come on.
Plus, the other good thing about a unicorn is the horn. It's like a bumblebee. They don't want to attack you because once they do, it's over. So they're just not gonna. They don't want to. They don't want to have to. But if it's required, if things have to go down, they will. But don't make them. And I agree with you. That's exactly the sort of force I want near me. I think you're 1,000% correct, though. The crowd is going to get hurt for this. Let's take a look at the scores. Robert G still in the game. 594. Wallsfield 522. Steph 479 coming up into the game. Welcome to top 3, I believe. Nyabari 457. BJ's left, but still has 414 points. So that's pretty much the mark you should be beating as we go along.
Yeah, it's a very close game right now.
Yeah, which is surprising because the entire time the clock just goes down and points get whittled away. So it is shocking to see a game that is this close. But you're not out of it yet because the next question's worth 500 points. Here we go. Wheel of Fortune or Jeopardy? We are on a game show. I do game shows. You're doing game shows. Game shows are a thing to talk about here.
That's why I chose it.
Yeah. You're doing game shows with words. That might be help. Who knows? Who knows? Let's take a look at what the crowd thinks. Crowd goes 67-33 for Jeopardy. You can't possibly hurt these people every time.
Right? I guess I should have prefaced this with I'm dyslexic and Wheel of Fortune I don't get. I don't understand it. I don't know why. My wife is just like, oh, it's that. I'm like, how? Oh, that's right. GH is an F sound. It's like, why is there a G in this? I don't understand.
So
and in Jeopardy, I can just be wrong and be okay with it. Like,
as a fellow dyslexic, I get what you're saying as far as puzzle answering. Can you intellectually understand what people like about the game?
Oh, yeah, totally.
The rest of it, or the dyslexia is so bad, you can't get the desire to spin a giant wheel.
Like I like but I don't get to spin the giant wheel. Like if I got to stand there and spin the giant wheel and just say random letters and see if I'd be happy. But like that would be my strategy for that game. Be like RSTLNET. Oh, we already did T. H. That's a popular one, right?
The kids love the H. There's got to be an H in it somewhere.
Like, can I get an F in chat, please?
So I have a question for you. Is it just of these two, or are you like a Jeopardy person? Because there's like a whole cult of Jeopardy.
I do like Jeopardy. Alex Trebek is my homeboy. Like,
nice.
And I am very happy that he has made it through as much as he has this year, because wouldn't that be 2020? But I like watching Jeopardy. It's a good show. You learn stuff, and it's good. Like I like it.
Have you seen? So there's a thing I love telling people about. Have you seen Jeopardy Play Show?
No.
It is an app you can get that is both on your phone and then on, if you have any kind of like smart TV, you can normally get it.
Oh.
And literally you watch an episode of Jeopardy, you ring in on your phone and it can recognize what you're saying. So it's literally like, what is the Declaration of Independence? And it rings in and you face people that were on the show.
Wow, that's
really
crazy.
A very cool app. Cool thing to find if you find it out there. I think if you're an Xfinity customer, it's all free. For everybody else, it's like $1 an episode or something, but well worth checking out. Oh, we have our next lead change.
Upset.
As is knocking on 1,000 points with 990. Robert G just 20 back with 970. It's a shame because we only pay one place and we pay it $5 American. Steph in with 935. Nikki at 774. Some comments coming up. As Scott noted, $5 American is almost a down payment for a house in Canada. Where
Scott, that's just not nice right now. Like, come on. We're already hurting. We're down. That's like a kick in the stomach.
The question threw me off. Wheel of Fortune of Jeopardy. Is that what that's?
You didn't have or Jeopardy. You had of Jeopardy.
Oh, I'm sorry. I put these together. These are bespoke. Sometimes I make mistakes. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry if that confused you. Alex is a living legend. That is indeed true, and has a pop vinyl. If you're the kind of person that collects those sort of things. And apparently Robert's playing for charity, so a solid $5 going to charity somewhere. Good luck, but you're in second place, so you need to try and make it to first. And we're going to move on to the next question. 750 points on this question. Question number 9. Ability to teleport or ability to stop time?
So if you were listening carefully to earlier questions, you might have gotten the answer to this.
Yeah. This is one I did not think about. I put it in here for this specific reason and then structured the game and totally forgot why I had put this one in here.
Now I'm curious as to why you thought you put it in.
So I put it in because of the game that you made, because I looked up and saw that in your CV. And I was like, oh, this would be a fun thing. But then when I structured this game, I was like, oh, it's a fun, wacky question about abilities. I'll put it in the end of the game. And it should have been like question 3. So let's take a look. This should be one for free points. It is 6-3. So let's do this. I just want to make the screen big so that everybody can see that. Please fix teleporter. Where can they get that?
Gravitation, not games.
So we're just gonna quick award those points. Yeah. Oh my goodness. That's the okay. There we go.
Yeah. Also, so this is actually a serious answer too, because the ability to teleport, Bruce, is I think underrated, because I love travel. I absolutely love travel, and I love going places. And the ability to teleport, just instantly avoid airports, avoid everything that goes along with them, avoid the travel time, just appear, and all of a sudden you have more time to play board games. Like, there's nothing wrong about that.
And to see sights, quite frankly.
Yeah, exactly. You can just like teleport to the pyramids, and you're like, cool. And then you hop over to the Statue of Liberty, and then you hop over to the Great Wall of China, and you're like, I'm here now. It's just convenient. And you
absolutely,
if you're at one end of Gen Con and you need to get together, you just teleport and you're there. It's no big deal. You're not all sweaty by the time you get over there.
I will also tell you, so it's an interesting thing that you would say that it is underrated. So this is not the first time I've asked this question. This one comes up about anytime I put it in, somebody will take it. So it's come up about 3 times. Everyone takes teleport. Everyone says, I know you're not going to expect this, but I'm going to take teleport. So I think actually ability to teleport might be one of the things that people, in a very real, very practical way, it is a superpower they would want.
So I see that Scott put, if you love travel but could do it everywhere, you get tired of it with the ability to teleport. Okay, yes, you're right. But
time is our currency on Earth.
But time, yes, the travel time can be spent doing like other things. You can see more sights. And I assume that my ability to teleport, I mean, we're going into hypotheticals at this point, comes with the ability for me to take people along with me. And so instead of the travel time, we can experience where we are much more in depth. And if we really want to, we can take a train or we can fly. But you know what? I'd prefer not to. I want the option to be able to have that choice, not have to make that choice.
We are about to move into our final question of the game. It is worth 1,000 points.
It's a lot.
It is a lot of points.
Which one is this one? Oh, that one. Got it.
Answer quickly. Answer correctly. Yeah, no, it's always going to be the absurd one. the most absurd one, which I feel this is. Here we go for 1,000 points. A giraffe that can't stop dancing or an emperor penguin with an invisible jet? Which is it? A lot of people often note, because everybody has figured out that I'm taking these from Super Fight. But I specifically do not make this a fight. I want you to interpret this any way you want to. You just have two things. If you think they're fighting, then they're fighting. If you're picking a companion, pick a companion. I want this to be open-ended so that it's not predictable. I really can put two things in there. So let's take a look and see what the crowd thinks with no other framing. Just a giraffe that can't stop dancing, or an emperor penguin with an invisible jet like Wonder Woman. This is how it's supposed to work.
Wow.
Exactly 50-50. So what is your answer and why?
So the correct answer is an emperor penguin. The with an invisible jet just is like a perk. Like I would take an emperor penguin like just home with me. Like I love penguins. There's something about them that just makes me giddy, and like I can't get over them. And like I'll spend like an hour just watching penguins like swim around at the aquarium because they're just delightful. They're joyous and fun, and I love them. They're just delightful. And I had to go with the penguin because it was just like, obviously penguin. And then the invisible jet, sure. Again, going back to the travel thing, if I can't teleport, I have this penguin that has an invisible jet. Yeah. There's no downside to this.
You're like, Leopold, let's get in the jet. We are about to reveal the winner in just a second. That winner's going to take home $5. Let's do a whole bunch of bookkeeping. I'm going to start with my bookkeeping so that we can finish off on all your bookkeeping. This weekend is Extra Life. I will be doing 24-hour Gameathon from 10 a.m. to 10 a.m. It will be over on the Party Gamecast Twitch channel, twitch.tv/thepartygamecast. If you take a look at all of our social media at Party Gamecast, you're going to see exactly how to donate to the cause to help kids, the Children's Miracle Network, specifically for us, the Johns Hopkins Children's Hospital. But we're doing 24 hours. We're going to be doing a trivia show just like this, but it's going to be trivia rather than opinion. I'm doing music video bingo. There's a bunch of cases where if there's just something you want to play, just tell me and we'll set it up here and I'll play it and we'll show everybody what we're doing. All kinds of things going on with that. I would love for you to check it out. And please, for the love of all that's holy, if you're free at some point this weekend, just keep me some company because it's 24 hours and I'm going to get real loopy by the end of it. Also, tell everybody about this, about Board Game the Game Show. All the support we can get always helps. We will be back next Thursday. I don't know with who, but with someone. We'll figure that out. Ian, tell everybody all the places they can find you, all the things you're doing, your channel, your game, your everything.
Oh my gosh, it's so much. But generally, you can find me at right here. There we go, right here. Ian Zang Design. That's my like main Twitter handle, and I also cross post most of my stuff that I do in other places to that channel, to that Twitter. I live on Twitter, especially now this week because it's ridiculous. But if you're watching previously, this is election week, so sorry.
Yeah, it's a thing. It's a real thing.
At Zangzabar is the place to go for all of my streaming stuff, ZANGZABAR. And Gravitation.games is the company that I run. And we have, again, Please Fix the Teleporter. It's up for pre-order right now. And if you have like little kids, it would be a great stuffing stalker. And I hope I can get it to by Christmas. But I again, because of COVID, I can't guarantee it. I wish I could.
We know you'll have it for Valentine's Day, though.
We know we will have it by Valentine's Day, though. Yeah. And yes, so you can go pre-order it, but you can also print and play the solo version right now and potentially win a copy. So check out Gravitation.games and go to the Please Fix the Teleporter page, and you can learn all about stuff there.
Very good. Now let's reveal the winner of the game. We were at a 50-50 with a lot of points on the board. Here we go. Good luck to all of you. Here are the final scores. Your winner tonight with 2,377.
Wow.
Wolfsvio, good work. You jumped in. You took it. Great. Fantastic work. He is noting everyone needs a stuffing stalker. We weren't going to worry about that. You knew what we were talking about. Wolfsvio, you know how to find me. We'll get you your $5. Everybody else, thank you so much for taking the time to come out and play. Once again, we will be back next week. Ian, thank you so much for taking the time to do the show. I really appreciate it.
And thank you so much for having me on, Bruce.
And I like to do the, personally, once again, I'm not here to tell you what to do. I'm not your dad. But I like to do the floppy armed wave at the end here. Bye, everybody. Have a great night. Have a great week. Stay safe. Stay sane. Don't pay too much attention to TV or Twitter. It'll be better
for your mental health. Just don't.
Yeah, please. And hopefully I will see you some part of this weekend for Extra Life for the kids.